Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Community Builders News, where we discuss all things related to growing profitable online communities, particularly on Skool and Go High Level. This past weekend, Jeff and I had the pleasure to actually fly out to Vancouver and go to the amazing Evelyn Weiss's Mastermind. It was an awesome experience. We learned a lot. We met a lot of really cool people, and a couple of Skool Games winners were really cool. And also came back with a plan for growing our community and growing our community-based business. So in this episode, we're going to be sharing some of those biggest takeaways from Evelyn's Mastermind. And I think you're really going to enjoy that section of the show. And then I'm also going to share some thoughts around Skool's upcoming feature release and how that coincides really nicely and really suspiciously with Alex Hormozi's new book launch for his $1 million models book launch. Okay. So I think that our $100 million money models. So I think there's something big planned, and I think we're going to see, I think you should be taking advantage of it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we'll also share a bunch of other cool stuff. So before we actually get into discussion, I wanted to share some cool things that are going on inside of Community Builders Elite, which is our paid community. So right now we're running what we call the 10K community boot camp. So this is not a guarantee of results, but it's literally the step-by-step process that I would go through if I was launching a brand new community today. So we're doing that boot camp. It's an 8-week boot camp where we actually are taking our members through our 5-phase system to build that 10K community system. So last week in the boot camp, I wanted to share my screen here, Jeff, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
All right. So I wanted to share some of the wins that we're seeing inside of the community, which are pretty cool. So last week we had everybody build their beta offer. So the first week we actually got everybody to build their product roadmap. This is what I call the source code of your business. It's the step-by-step process that you take people through to help them go from having a problem to their desired transformation and outcome. So we took that the first week, and then last week we created what we call the beta offer. So this is if you're launching a brand new offer. I never want people to build out a program first. I want them to sell the program and then build it with their customers. Okay. So what's cool is last week, after one of our clients, our members created their beta offer, he got his first sale from the beta boot camp, which is super cool. Another one of our members, she was actually talking about her offer on a bus or something, public space here it says. And then she got 2 people that want to sign up for her offer when she launches. So super cool wins that are going inside the community, and just wanted to share that. I thought that was super cool. So also the big epiphany that I had this week about creating demand in a free community and also getting people to want to buy your stuff. So I am very, very sold on the fact that you do not want to put a bunch of stuff in your free community. You know, we've heard this from Sam Ovens. We've heard this from a lot of other big schoolers. And the idea is the free community is created to build demand for your offers, right, Jeff? Makes sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So if you give them 5, 8, 10 hours of content to consume, that is not going to create demand for your next thing, because you can't make somebody hungry while there's still food on the table. So I heard that from Calvin Hollywood, and it gave me a huge epiphany about creating content, especially your classroom content, for your free community. And so that perfectly aligns with what this week of what we did with our bootcamp members, where we showed them how to create a webinar. And my thought is that you create a webinar, and that becomes the free course inside of your free community. And I wanted to share some really cool tools that we have, Jeff, if that's cool again.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah, this thing is ridiculous.
This is a tool. This is pretty awesome. We've inside of the boot camp, we have a tool that we inside of our Community Builders Elite tool that we've actually built this custom for ourselves. But basically, I can take our product roadmap, which we built in the first step of the process in the first week of the boot camp, and then this week, we actually created our webinar scripts. Check this out, Jeff. So I can paste in my product roadmap there, and I can say, can you create a webinar, or so can you analyze my program and create a webinar script that I can copy and paste into Canva. and then I'm going to hit enter. And while it's doing that, Jeff, the big thing that we see all the time when people are trying to launch their Skool communities, their high level communities, is they just get stuck in overanalyzing and over perfection, and then they just never move forward in their business. So our launch process of our boot camp, which is just a four weeks, is helping people to get that launched as quickly as possible. And part of that is creating the course material for their free community. And I believe that a webinar is the best approach for that. So with this tool, check it out, Jeff. It creates the slide text and it creates your speaker notes. So it creates this entire webinar all based on the product roadmap, which is your step-by-step process that you teach people, right? Also, we found another tool, which I think is pretty cool that everybody will like. So this will write the entire script. Granted, you'll probably have to edit a little bit of it, but it's pretty damn solid. And so once you have that script created, then we can actually take it over to a tool called GenSpark. And this is the best tool that I've found for creating the slides for a webinar. So you can basically take your webinar script, paste it in there. And this is really, really clean. Really, I think it looks really good. You know, there are other tools out there like Gamma app and stuff like that, but I just don't like it. I mean, personally. So that's the big epiphany. And those are some of the tools and things, cool things that we're doing inside of Community Builders Elite in the boot camp specifically. As far as news this week, Jeff, I don't think there's any, I don't know if you've heard anything. I don't think Skool news happened this week because they just replayed the Skool games event from the most recent Skool games. So no big announcements this week. Have you heard anything?
No, this last week was kind of not much as well, and then this week was basically just giving an update on the last winning, event they had. So nothing exciting or brand new. So I think they're building up, though. I think they're building up for this big, the different streaming and different things with Alex's book. So I think they're lulling us to sleep, and then they're going to blow it up and totally shock.
Yeah. So the big one, I think that they're coming back. I think they're definitely going to do it in the next 3 weeks because I think that they're planning something big with this big Alex Hormozi's $100 million models launch, because it just seems too coincidental that they're rolling out these specific features at the same time that he's about to do this big book launch. So the big feature that we're talking about is subscription-based courses. So there's been a lot of talk about the freemium model. We like the 2 community model. I'm not super crazy on the freemium model, but it's a good way to get started at least. So what's going to happen is you can have a free community, and then your courses inside the free community or any paid community can also be subscription based. So you can have different tiers inside your community. So think like, okay, I've got a tier for my low ticket subscription. And then I've got a tier for the mid-ticket subscription. And you can also give access to calendar events for people that have access to those different courses. I hope that made sense. So and they've been talking about that Alex Hormozi is really excited about this because it aligns with his money models. So they've been teasing it kind of undercover tease. And on August 16th, Alex Hormozi is going to be releasing doing his big launch for his $100 million money models book. And if you guys experienced the last launch, it was insane. Like, I mean, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen as far as marketing. And so I believe they've got something big planned with Skool and some big announcement or something they're going to do with that money models launch and the launch of this new subscription-based model. What do you think, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, they're very crafty and creative in how they do their marketing. So I have no doubt they're going to do something amazing. And I think that because they've been planting the seeds for the freemium for like maybe the last month or two in the episodes. And then if you've noticed a few times, Sam has even said like, oh, Alex is so excited about this. Alex is so excited about this. So he said that. So it's almost like they're just kind of teasing us along a little bit. Like I said, they kind of feel like they're lulling us to sleep. And then all of a sudden they're going to have this big boom, big, aha type of a thing. So I'm excited for it. I mean, it's, a couple of weeks away now. So I know
I think we're going to see another big lift in excitement and eyeballs and traffic and stuff around Skool. Kind of like what happened when Alex Hormozi announced his investment in Skool. A lot of the people that kind of took off on Skool got a huge lift during that time, like Max Perzan, some of these other guys that had been talking about Skool on YouTube, and the traffic just shot up on YouTube. So a lot more people were interested in it. So what we want to do is we want to create some kind of offer around that time to coincide with that launch. Now, can we pull it off? We'll see. You guys stay tuned. But we're going to be working on something. And if you are, on Skool and you have basically anything to do with Skool, I would kind of think about what kind of campaign can we launch or do around this big event. Even doing some YouTube videos around Alex Hormozi's new book. I mean, that's leveraging his name and his book launch to get more traffic to your community. Cool. All right. So the big discussion that we wanted to talk about is we had the honor to go and attend Evelyn Weiss's Mastermind. If you guys don't know Evelyn Weiss, you should definitely check her out. She's got a great YouTube channel. Brilliant woman. Really good at just ad strategy and just all around business. She blows me away every day, like her work ethic, and she's just great. It was great to meet her in person. There was also a lot of other really cool people that have great businesses at the event. Some Skool Games winners, Dan Harrison, who's really cool guy, gave us some tips on growing our high ticket. So, so what are some of the biggest takeaways that you had, Jeff?
Well, first of all, I mean, I think just being surrounded by so many people for 3 days that are constantly working to better themselves or business. I mean, just being around that's exciting, right? I think it just kind of motivates you. It gives you, I guess, a sense of camaraderie. Sometimes when we're working from home, we're by ourselves. I know you and I get a chance to speak and stuff, but when you're kind of in your office by yourself, so it's good to get out in real life, actually meet with some people that are on the same journey. They're out there to help people. They're out there to generate revenue for themselves and so forth. So that aspect was good. But the biggest takeaway I feel like I had from the event was, which I know we're going to speak about right now, is just the idea of documenting the process. And I know you've got some good insight on that because we've been speaking about the last couple of days. So
yeah. So for me, and I'm assuming a lot of other people out there, content creation can be difficult sometimes, especially when you're trying to come up with topics and trying to appease to the market and all that stuff. But a big aha moment that I had personally, and I think even you around content creation, was that just documenting your journey is a great and sustainable model for creating content and building your brand along the way, because as your brand kind of evolves, your interests are also going to evolve, right? So, and that's exactly what Evelyn's doing, because she's kind of expanding into personal development and she's got the brand and business growth, but she's also expanding into these other areas, and she's kind of just documenting what she's doing along the way, and that creates really interesting content, right? And that helps you to build a personal brand where people feel more connected with you, and it makes content creation easier. It takes a lot of the stress and anxiety around content creation. That's kind of like why we created this. I mean, it's just like, hey, let's jump on. Let's talk about what's going on in Skool. Let's talk about our take on that. Let's talk about what's going on inside of our community, things that we're doing, like going to Evelyn's event. So it just takes a lot of the stress and anxiety out of content creation. And I think it creates better content because it's you behind the scenes, like actually talking about what's going on in your world. So we started kind of we started the process at Evelyn's event by casting a vision. And I've actually got the planner that we got at Evelyn's event, which is a really cool planner, by the way.
Awesome.
But here is what I put down, because, we are in community building, but that definitely doesn't put a container on the things that I enjoy and I'm passionate about. And I think I'm pretty good at. So this is what I wrote down. So my vision is systematizing or systemizing. I don't really know which one's the right word. Business, personal growth, and faith. We're both Christians. So but I need systems. Like, I'm a systems nerd, and I need that in all realms of life. And using technology, AI, and automation, also going back, systematize business, personal growth, faith, and relationships, using technology and AI automation, and then helping others install the systems in their own lives. So my plan is to document my journey on reaching that vision. So as I build systems to help me to, walk in faith, to help me to build strong relationships, to help me to grow my business and help others grow their business, I want to document my journey along the way and show some of the cool things I'm doing. And I think that's going to be pretty interesting content.
No, I think it's amazing. And I think the one element of this, like kind of a side note to it, is that like right now, a lot because of AI and the ability to, create video off of a person that's not really them, and you can input anything you want them to say. I mean, I know they call them deep fakes or some of those kind of things. I think that trust is just really lacking kind of in the world in general with internet marketing. But I just think in the world, it's questionable. So I think the beauty of documenting is that it allows people to see who we really are.
Yeah.
Like that we're just two regular guys. We love God, we love our family, we love our friends, we love business, and I think the biggest thing is we love helping people, which is why we do what we do. So I think from that aspect, I think that's the hidden gem in this idea of documenting the journey, is that people get to see us who we really are. And we're just regular guys that just love what we do and want to, help others create a lifestyle business that works for them. So I think that's what's exciting about it.
It also, like I talked about, building your personal brand, because that's what makes you unique. Nobody can replicate that. AI can't replicate that. So that's going to help you to kind of stand out from the audience, in my opinion. Now, is it going to work? We'll see. But I believe it creates compelling content. Okay. So how are we applying this? So again, it's basically like documenting the process of me kind of working towards that vision. And then, so the big takeaway for, I think, you guys or anybody out there that's watching this is it doesn't have to be the documenting approach. The most important thing is finding a container for your content that's sustainable for you. So the great example of this is the reason why Sam Ovens created Skool News is because he hates like face to camera. He said it multiple times, and it just does. He hates it. So he likes the model of just him and Kirby talking, kind of like we're doing. Like, that's kind of why I did this. That inspired this show. Maybe we just stole it. Maybe it wasn't inspired. But so it's something that's sustainable for him. So find something that's sustainable for you, where you can create content on a consistent basis, because you need content to grow, period. I mean, I know that's scary for some people, but you got to get over it if you want to build a business, unless you just get really good at ads. So that is my takeaway from that. We're going to be trying to document what we're doing, and that's, part of that is this show here. Okay. So the next thing that was big takeaway was fixing our biggest bottleneck. You want to kind of talk a little bit about that, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, we know that high ticket is a part of what we want to do, because we know that when people make that level of a commitment, it allows us to give them a lot more time and a lot more energy. And we just see great results. I mean, when people take the time to invest in themselves, invest in their business, and they get the proper mentoring and coaching, I mean, just like we've done with a number of, great coaches out there, it just helps them accelerate their business. So from that, I know that we've not done probably the best job even letting people know that we have a high ticket, that we have an accelerator, that they can work with us, they get one-on-one time, they get a special group, they get extra tools. I mean, just so many things. I mean, the offer's crazy. And I think that aspect is something that we haven't done a great job at, just because we just really want to help people. And at the end of the day, we're doing that through our community. So I think that we realize that part of our bottleneck is that we really haven't been discussing it enough. We haven't been, letting people know that we even have it available. We definitely haven't been, putting any level at all of pressure to let people know they can actually buy something from us. Like, we get on these calls and it's just about, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? And sometimes you just have to ask for the sale, and I think that's a big piece of like the conversion piece that we were missing,
Yeah. Well, I think we both went into the mastermind going in there thinking we were trying to grow our paid community, which we want to do. I mean, that we're not moving away from that by any stretch of the imagination. But what we discovered, and this is this kind of shows you the importance of tracking your metrics and really understanding your data. So what we did is we looked at, what is the highest lever thing that we could do right now to scale our business? And that is definitely trying to sell more of our high ticket. Okay. So, we can make bigger ticket sales. We can work with people. We can get them results a lot faster because we have a lot of tools now where we can basically get people set up in a couple of weeks and get them going. So what we looked at and what we saw is that if we look at our ads, and that's basically a lot of what Evelyn kind of focuses on, and we look at our ads, we are booking really cheap calls based on like industry benchmarks. We're paying like under $50 per call, which is crazy if you understand the benchmarks. I think the benchmark's probably $200 a booked call, maybe it's $150. So we're getting really, really cheap calls. So that's good. But then if we look, and this is just us being transparent, if we look at our conversion rate from those calls, is pretty low. We definitely need to fix that. And part of that is because a lot of people that we're getting on these calls with they're just unqualified. And so that's not really helpful for them. It's not really helpful for us. And so the solution that we came back with and what we're going to be working on ourselves is adding friction to the call booking process. So our plan is to add some pre-qualifying questions, survey questions on our call booking funnel so that we can add some more friction. Now, when you're getting started, I think it's super valuable to get on as many calls as possible. But we're at a stage where, we're pretty good. We're doing pretty good, but now we want to scale our business. So the best way for us to do that is to sell more high ticket at this point. We'll talk a little bit about why that is here in a second. But so we want to add more friction. We don't want to take unqualified calls anymore. We want to add more friction to the call booking status. And we're going to do that by adding some qualifying questions. And the people that are unqualified, we still want to help those people. So we're going to send them to a page that's basically going to give them a discounted price, a really good price on one of our lower ticket offers. That's more of a starting point. So a lot of people that we jump on a call with, they don't really know what business they want to start. So this offer is going to help them to pick their niche. It's going to help them to map their product roadmap, which I think is one of the most important things in your business, and then how to create an irresistible offer. So that's going to be the low ticket offer that we're going to present to them. They're probably going to get a discount if they take advantage on that page. And so that's going to be, what we're going to be working on to improve our conversion rates, get higher quality people on the call, and higher qualified people, not quality, higher qualified people on the call, and then still help the people that are less qualified but still need help. And hopefully, some of the people that will purchase that offer, that low ticket offer, and that'll help finance our ads or liquidate our ads a little bit. Okay. So the outcome that we're kind of expecting for this, and this is all about, figuring out your bottlenecks, experimenting and testing different things there, and then seeing the result and seeing if that worked. Okay. So we're expecting to have, higher quality calls, higher qualified calls, and then also improve our conversion rate. So that's the outcome that we're looking for. And that's kind of one of the things that we're working on. We took back from the event. The next thing that we talked about is, so we're at a point right now with our community, again, full transparency. We're about 225 members. We have a small YouTube channel. We're running some ads, but once you start spending ads, and especially if you're not converting these calls as well as we want to, we're starting to see we're at a plateau kind of in our paid community where we're growing, but we're also churning at the same time. And that's one of the reasons we implemented the boot camp, because we wanted to get more people on annual. And that worked really well, and people are loving it. So I'm glad we did that. But what you find is you're going to have a point where you're kind of plateauing. And so how do you scale at that point? So there's a couple of levers you can pull. You can increase the prices of your membership. That's one way of doing it, because as you have people churn, the new people come in, they're paying a little bit more money. So and you're also incentivizing them to stay, because if they leave, they're going to have to pay the higher price. So that's one way of doing it. Selling more high ticket offers, which is what we're doing to kind of scale at this point. And the other way of doing it is increasing traffic. Now, organically, that's hard to do. You can't just push a button and just automatically you're going to start getting more organic traffic. So if you want to do it faster and you want to scale faster, that means scaling your ad budget. But if you don't have a lot of cash flow and you don't have that money coming in, it's hard to scale your budget, right? So how do you do that, Jeff?
Well, ultimately you want a self-liquidating offer. you want a way to put an ad out there and just recover as much of that ad money as you can, like right away,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really cool. The other part too, which just to kind of add, just this, for everybody to know, is like, and it's a phrase that you use. And again, I'm from the big city in California. I know you're from Mississippi, but this idea of like we eat our own dog food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're literally going to create a self-liquidating offer right now because we do know that to scale, that's what businesses and the people that we work with, as far as all the kind of partners that are part of our elite program, right, are going to need. So like we go out and test and do the work, and we make it work for us first before we start trying to teach people to do stuff or have them do stuff. So that's kind of, again, a little bit of that kind of document the journey, is that we're doing this now because, one, we need to do it for our business, we want to do it, but also because we want to go prove that it can work, get the best system in place, and then basically teach that and offer that to the members of our community. So the answer is a self-liquidating offer, which I know we're going to talk about, which is really cool.
Yeah, and Evelyn's like the queen of self-liquidating offers. So she loves talking about it, and she's really good at it and helping people to do that. So so we have a framework in our community that's called the 10K Community Blueprint, and we have 4 different phases from that. And when you're thinking about a self-liquidating offer, you can pull pieces of your bigger program, and you just want to solve a very small problem and charge like a low ticket price for that. And then you would run ads to just explaining for people who don't know what a self-liquidating offer is. You run ads to that, you charge a really low price to it, and then you have order bumps, which most of you have probably seen these types of offers. They buy the low ticket offer. There's an order bump to increase the average cart value that somebody spends. And then after you pay, then there's also one-click upsells, which are additional products that align really well to the low ticket offer. And so everything that they buy, that increases the average cart value, and therefore you can pay for your ad spend. And if you have a really strong self-liquidating offer, you can spend a ton of money because you're paying for your ads with your self-liquidating offer, and then your back end offer is really where you're scaling. So that is one of the ways that once you reach this plateau with your community, a strategy that you can use to really scale your business. And that's how Evelyn has been able to take her paid community, Grow with Evelyn, and get to like 2,000 members. Now, you don't have to do that. There's lots of other ways to grow. But this is the fastest way. If you don't have a huge organic traffic, you have to run ads. And if you want to run ads and scale it, you're going to need a self-liquidating offer to really do that and take it to where you want to. Otherwise, you're just spending and you're not getting in that back until you make a sale. Make sense?
Yeah.
And so the things that we want to keep in mind around our self-liquidating offer is this big launch with Alex Hormozi and in his new book and the new subscription-based model that's coming out. So that's really what we got for you guys today. Jeff, any final words for everybody?
No, I would just say, guys, we appreciate you obviously tuning in, and tell all your friends, let people know what we do. Again, we do want to share what wisdom we've accumulated. We, like I said, like Ron said, we had the privilege of going to a mastermind. Evelyn's was just total class. She's just top notch. So I would check her out for sure. And then just kind of keep watching what we're doing, and we're going to give you guys the kind of the behind the scenes, shall we call it, of what we're doing. And we want you guys to follow along and implement what works, because we're going to share what works with you guys. Every time we find something that works, you're going to know it works because we're going to be giving it to you.
Yeah, and just, hey, we're just getting this thing started. So if you guys have anything you guys want us to talk about or any format feedback, we're all about it. We're taking imperfect action just to show you guys that
Right.
you don't have have everything perfect to just take action and get stuff done. So hopefully you're enjoying this stuff. We'll keep it going regardless. So we'll see you guys next week, and I hope you guys tune in. See ya.
See you guys.